Welcome back, dear viewers. And as you've seen on your screen, the atmosphere in and around Karbala, the vicinity of Karbala, the shrines, the people walking now towards Karbala. The authorities have recorded historical figures once again, year on year in, year out. The numbers keep increasing as people feel the need to pledge their allegiance to Imam Hussein alayhi salam during the month of Safar, specifically the time of Arba'een. Once again, Verses of Love is where we connect to Imam Hussein alayhi salam during the months of Muharram and Safar, during the times of Ashura and Arba'een. We connect to Imam Hussein alayhi salam with tears and with lamentations, recitations and poetry. Today's episode we're going to be focusing on recitations, and once again I've had some very fascinating discussions with my dear brother, the reciter Imran Datoo, and he joins us once again. Assalamu alaikum, Imran.
Assalamu wa rahmatullah.
So just to we had some really good discussions about how to really connect with the non-Muslims, yes, from a recitation point of view, because me and you both know when it comes to recitations, I am much more comfortable, as you are as well, sticking to my own culture when it comes to the form and the style of delivery of the melody. But unfortunately, the non-Muslims, the people that we even work with at work, universities, they don't understand that culture. So for us to be able to explain to them, we're already on the back foot, because number one, you got to explain to them terms like Karbala and Ashura and Hussein and who's Hussein.
Yeah.
So how, from your perspective, you know, you've got the experience as well, how do you really start to, what's the process of us beginning to really take the message out to the West?
So I think, firstly, like you said, when it comes to your colleagues and friends that a circle that you hang around with, use that as the starting point, I'd say 100%. So, you know, when they discuss what are you doing, especially around Muharram, you know, if they ask you what are you doing, your answer will be, I'm going to mosque. Why are you going to mosque? You know, because when they go to...
So you begin to plant the seed.
Absolutely. Yeah, get a conversation going. It's the best way. And then, you know, and I've had these conversations before, and then you explain to them, you know, the grandson of the Prophet, because they know Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
So grandson of
the
Prophet
starting
Muhammad,
point is
yeah, something
Muhammad, and then
exactly something they can relate to, and then come down Imam Hussein, and then, you know, tragic death of his whole family. Why, they'll ask, and then it's just natural. It'll be a natural conversation. But then to get that message to them, I think so. Starting, use your work colleagues, use your friends, things like that, to do it on from that point of view. But when it comes to reciting, something, you know, again, you can tell people that you do, and you can show them something that they can actually relate to. It's important to kind of divert your style a little bit, and it's not easy at all. I like myself and yourself know. I think there was a couple that you did higher, I believe, but it was really that for me, that kind of style is good, because that's something that the non-Muslims will relate to and can relate to. So I think along those lines that's the right direction. So I think that's where we need to go. So if for myself, even trying to find a vibe between the Urdu or something I'm comfortable with, but putting it out there in a way that they would also understand. It's tough, but you can only gain this by speaking to them and knowing, I guess, what they want. Okay, so what stage are you at now? If for example, the benchmark is to create something that similar to higher. Let's just use higher as a benchmark. What stage are you at now from your personal life? So now, like we said, the English has just come about, and alhamdulillah, we're just getting to grasps with that. So we're focusing on that at the moment. So if you know, if someone did ask, we can show them the English. Granted, it wouldn't be something they would listen to, because at the moment what they listen to is for entertainment. Yeah. We listen to this for the words. To grieve. And they won't understand that straight away. So we work. That's where I'm at the moment. So working on our version of the English. But next steps would definitely be, I think, collaboration is the best way to, in my opinion, to do it, because sometimes single-handedly, if you are known, for example, to be an Urdu reciter, and then if you come out with a brand new English track, and, you know, on such a vibe of almost like the songs and the music that we hear without the instruments, I think it's difficult to carry. Or at least for me, it's difficult to carry it on your own. Whereas if you, for example, go with somebody who's done English for a while, like yourself, for example, you know, and the ideas that, say, I would gain from you and you would gain from me, that mix, I think, would be very beneficial and something that the non-Muslims would really kind of, I guess, listen to and accept, I guess, in their mind, that this is, even if initially they listen to something for entertainment that we produce, but they listen to it, they will get down to their words eventually. They will. It's natural.
From your side, I know that we have a lot of time ahead of us, but at the same time, the generations they're changing. The younger generation are changing. So what we find to be interesting to listen to, maybe the next generation doesn't find interesting. So how soon do you think we should take the next step when it comes to really delivering that message?
Yeah, to be honest, I think ASAP, because who knows how much life we have. Yeah. And if we need to get some work done here, as a responsibility, like I said, to kind of get that message across, ASAP is good. So I think one step at a time. But now, like I said, we've done this English Urdu vibe, and now I think, like you said, it'd be ideal to start moving on. Even if it's, there are all these young reciters as well. You look at them, aged, 15, 16, 17, and all of them will have friends who are, like you said, in this new generation. There's no harm in communicating with them, asking what kind of things do you guys like to listen to, or your friends would they respond to, and then even get ideas from the young ones, and the potential they have is sometimes underestimated. Yeah. So I think it might be also worth asking the young reciter. So
you're saying like it's as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're gonna miss the boat when it comes to the next generation and what they find interesting. Absolutely. Because there's only so much that we know about the youth. And we really need to be connected with them. But from your lifestyle, my lifestyle, our priorities, your priorities, it's hard to stay in connection with youth 24/7 to find out what really, really makes them tick. Yeah. So the question is, we've got to do it as soon as possible. What do you feel like is really holding us back from being able to achieve the benchmark, for example?
I think personally for me, and I'm not sure how the Iraqi culture is, but our culture is very, I don't mean to sound rude or bad towards the culture, but sometimes can be very judgmental. So something simple like in my last year and the album, one of the videos, or the year previous to that, sorry, some of the videos I released seemed a little bit elaborate for some of the audiences in the Khoja world, if you will. Right. And I received feedback that, keep it simple. Why are you doing all this? Why are you going out in the beach to take a video? Or
really?
Yeah, so that automatically that makes you think, oh, hang on, am I doing something wrong? Yeah. Whereas if you look, and that was from one of the older generation, if you will. But if you look at the newer generation, in my opinion, if you look at something like that, it's like a fresh video. It's something like, it's not a plain black background anymore. Yeah. It's something fresh. It's something that they'll be like, oh, that's a nice camera angle, for example. Absolutely, they can relate to it. And that's what we need to do. And I find that's the culture restraints are a big thing that kind of hold us back from doing. Yeah, but look, at the
end of the day, we have to get ahead of it. The times now is everything is online, everything is cyber, everything is viral, everything is about. Especially for the youth, they're so much more connected to the online world than they were previously. Absolutely. So back in the day when we were younger, we didn't know anything about what's happening in other different countries, or what's the latest trends, or what's the latest fads that are out there. The only thing that we focused on were physical things, like I don't know if you remember Pogs, for example, or Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchi,
do you know what I mean? So there's physical things that within the community we can relate to, but now everything's online.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a difficult one, but at the same time, we have to get ahead of that. Otherwise, they're not interested. Let's just be absolutely, frankly honest. They're not interested when it comes to the overtly Islamic way of delivering the message. Absolutely. So we have to find ways to go around that. Of course, trying to be within the boundaries, of course. Yeah. But there has to be some
There has to be. And I think even with the production, if you do it like a studio release, the production of it has to be something different video-wise. Because nowadays, if you look at like these memes and these videos that come out, they're hardly like 10 to 30 seconds long. Yeah. And it almost tells you that the concentration span is very limited now. So for someone, I'll be honest, if I release a track, for me to say that I think everybody or who listens to this will listen from 0 seconds all the way to the 8th minute I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I don't listen to
unless
tracks
it's
that long.
very cinematography. You know, the cinematography is amazing.
Exactly.
And it's like a film that you're watching.
Exactly. So
They're
the
not.
production of it may also need to be increased because the idea is to keep that attention span, and it's tough, like you say, but it's something that needs to be thought about and worked on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, look, I mean, that's essentially the message that we want to. Technically speaking, from a recitation point of view, what do you think we should do in order to try and stay ahead of the times from the youth, from a live perspective? We've spoken about studio. What we need to do, hopefully, try and stay is to create something that's a bit more trendy with the youth. But from a live perspective, how do we get them to be interested in the live recitations?
So with regards to the live one, it's difficult because again, like in the in the Khoja culture, the majalis, if they attend the masjid, if they attend the program, they'll be there. But what we're finding at the moment is a lack of attendance from these youth. So it's to actually, what do you do to bring these youth in? Simply with recitation, I don't know if it's something that we can aid. I'm sure there is a way, but I don't know, there's some way of getting them involved, or reciting as a group maybe, so they feel a little bit more involved. But first, they need to connect with Imam Hussein. First, they need to connect with the mosque, which unfortunately now we see a lack of in the youth itself. So I think the first step is to somehow find a way for them to come.
Do you think it's got a lot to do with the actual parents themselves? Because the parents are changing as well, because the next generation is, for example, myself and yourself, who are the parents within the community. Yeah. And we have to, is it a responsibility on us to make sure that our kids go to the mosque, but because we're disenchanted with the mosque in itself, there's a lot of grappling going on. I don't want to be there, but at the same time I have to because of my young ones. So I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, how do we get the children to come into the mosque? Is it our responsibility? I think
so. I think it's in the upbringing, 100%. I mean, I truly believe it. From a young age, if your parents don't take that effort to go to mosque, if that with you, take you to mosque, listen to the lecture. When you grow up, if the parents are, do what you want, it's okay. The children will find an excuse. I mean, right now, during the World Cup final, or was it? No, sorry, it was the England-Belgium third place game. It was Imam Jafar Sadiq's wafat at that time. And the Maulana on the minbar made a very good point, and he was very saddened to the point tears came down his face, saying that, and because the mosque was empty, and he goes that it's so sad that people give priority to the World Cup rather than come to Imam Jafar Sadiq's martyrdom commemoration. And it's a very important point that and you will get parents as well who would have done that, I'm assuming. Not everyone, everybody has different circumstances. However, things like this happen now, where priority is given to something else apart from the Ahlul Bayt. And I think we are losing the importance of who the Ahlul Bayt are. We don't realize.
Yeah, they're not an integral part of our lifestyle. They're just an addition.
Exactly, and it shouldn't be. And I've always said, when I speak to, even if I speak to co-workers and stuff, when it comes to religion of Islam, especially in Ramadan, they're like 10 hours, how can you, 18 hours, how can you do it? Yeah. But I always tell them that, look, it's, you can't conform religion to your life. You need to conform to the religion. Yeah. That's how it is. So, and again, it's the same thing with the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, when it's commemorating them, remembering even on their birth anniversaries, and make them important. And the parents need to instill this in the children. And obviously I'm saying this to myself before obviously telling all the viewers. Yeah. Instill it and it will stay.
Inshallah. Instill it and it will stay. Many thanks for your time. Some fascinating discussions about how to really connect with the non-Muslims, as well as trying to bring the youth back into the majalis through the different types and forms of the studio recitations, and trying to get them into the mosques for the live recitations. So really appreciate your time. Up next, as ever, is Dear Masuma with my co-host Zahra Kazmi, as well as Masuma Jafar, where today they're going to be discussing momentum.